Welcome to Growing Chatham, North Carolina Cooperative Extension, Chatham County Center's June 2021 podcast. I'm Tiffany Hancock. Dr. Mike Walden presents the annual Agriculture and Agribusiness Report. Agriculture and Agribusiness, North Carolina's #1 industry. Agriculture and agribusiness, food, fiber, and forestry account for 1/6 of the state's income and employment, over 16% or $95.9 billion of the $592 billion gross state product is contributed by food, fiber, and forestry industries. These industries account for over 789,000 of the state's 4.5 million employees. To read this report, visit the Growing Chatham newsletter. go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 621. Have you downloaded the Visit North Carolina Farms app? Download it today by visiting the Apple App Store or Google Play. The Visit NC Farms app connects the dots in communities across North Carolina. Using cell phone technology, residents and visitors can find farms closest to them with products and activities that interest them. Visitors can use the app to explore farms, farmers markets, local restaurants, events, and more that are just off the beaten path and unique to each community. Are you a Chatham County farm or agribusiness? Join the Visit North Carolina Farms app today. Why should you list your farm on the Visit North Carolina Farms app? Showcasing your farm on the app allows you to reach a broader audience of potential customers and repeat patrons. You'll be listed among an expansive and ever-growing collection of agricultural-based offerings. With both the map and the list view, users will be able to easily find the farm closest to them or filter based on offerings. Your farm listing will feature a brief summary, engaging imagery, and push-button shortcuts to call, visit your website, or get directions. User and member feedback ensures that the app stays relevant and up to date. Your farm listing gives you access to real-time marketing opportunities through push notifications to app users. These Chatham County farms and agribusinesses can be found on the Visit North Carolina Farms app. Angelina's Kitchen, Chatham Oaks Farm, Country Farm and Home, Dutch Buffalo Farm, Farrington Farmers Market, Leaning 7 Farms, Smithview Farm, Woodland Farm. So come grow with us at your farm or agribusiness today. For more details about the Visit North Carolina Farms app, please visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 621. The Chatham County Center welcomes Kristen Peters, summer intern from North Carolina State University. Coming up, we're going to talk to Kristen to find out a little more about her. If you'd like to see the video, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter. Please visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 621. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I originally grew up in rural central Michigan. My hometown has a small college. So, we have an influx of students that come in, and then when everybody leaves, it's just us townies. And so I grew up kind of surrounded by my grandparents' land. They had about 80 to 100 acres all in one area, and we kind of all lived on the same road. So I spent a lot of my childhood literally just walking down to my grandparents or down to my cousins and spending a lot of time outside and on their land. And so from a young age, I loved nature and the outdoors because really that's all we had to do. I was still a 90s kid. It was before, the internet got big. So I spent a lot of time outside. And so when I went to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just started taking a bunch of courses, trying to, get some sort of spark or some sort of idea of what path to go down. And so my freshman year, I took dendrology, which was the, identification of trees And so it had a lab component where we were walking outside and we were, learning how to tell the differences between tree species that before that I had no idea, right? Like you're walking through the woods, and you're like, oh, this is beautiful. And maybe an oak from a maple, but really outside of that, it was all new and exciting. And I felt kind of like I had this secret insider knowledge that other people didn't have. So that kind of sparked this like interest and joy in forestry. And prior to that, I had no idea that really natural resources outside of, the agricultural parts was really like an option as a career. I was surrounded by ag land and that kind of stuff growing up, but not a lot of natural resources professionals or any sort of, people to look up to or aspire to. And so during my bachelor's degree, I found forestry and it was wonderful. And I loved every minute of it. And I got to work with so many people that had interest in, managing forest or, looking at the soil after fires. So it was so diverse and broad that I had no idea was even possible, that it really kind of roped me in, and I've stuck with it since then. But after my bachelor's degree, I wanted to, I knew I wanted to get into extension. I had some experience with that in my undergraduate degree. So I kind of knew that I wanted to be in the forefront of bringing that scientific research-based education to people who actually use it, not just for science sake. So that kind of led me to moving down here and doing my master's degree at NC State. So I really got into that social science sphere, and I learned all about, family forest landowners within the state and their educational needs and interests. So that's kind of what has brought me to where I'm at now. And, this next step of working with, Chatham County is really exciting because I get that broader natural resources kind of lens that I haven't had for a couple of years. So I'm excited to learn about dairy cows or, beef quality assurance, that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I'm excited to keep going and try and further my education with forest health. That's really where my passions lie. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's great. So I could tell your perspective of the trees in the woods has totally changed
yes.
since day one. If you had a dream job, when you finish your PhD, where would you like to go? What would you really like to do?
Honestly, when I moved here, I always joke that North Carolina was kind of like unassuming, and that, I knew about Virginia and I knew that North and South Carolina existed, but it never occurred to me that it was someplace to live or really even work until I moved down here. And so the Southeast has really captured my heart and my interest, which is how, impactful forestry is in this region. I come from Michigan, so it's a lot more hardwoods and kind of an art perspective to managing. But down here, it's so much more intensive. And I feel like impactful, and the family forest landowners, they're so vital that I really hope to get into, if anything, dream job would be extension specialist in forest health so that I could help people, manage their forests and do what they need to do to make sure that it's healthy in the long run. But honestly, anything hopefully in this region that I can do to assist educating people and while also working within the field at the same time.
So I did read that, and you were talking about your grandfather being a farmer and everything, and I was reading your bio. And did you say you were the first one in your family to go to college, or?
Yeah, so it definitely was the first one to traditionally go to college. So my dad essentially would take like a class for like 14 years. So he didn't graduate until I was a sophomore in college. So, his experience and his knowledge when it comes to doing college, it just wasn't the same as the traditional experience of, doing the applications and, getting in, because his was more like doing community college throughout the years kind of thing. But yes, I was the first person really in most of my like even extended family to go to college. My mom's side is very rural. And, so they're kind of suspicious of education at sometimes. But I think, me going into something like natural resources helps because they can kind of connect with that. They're like, oh, my grandpa planted this pine stand over here because he was interested in forestry and, doing this kind of like his own research on it kind of thing. Versus, if I had gotten a degree in something, more traditional, like finance or marketing, it would be harder for them to connect with what I'm learning and why I'm doing so much school. And my dad's side of the family is also relatively rural. But, they're a little bit more tolerant of schooling and, thinking that it's a good thing. So, but yeah, I definitely was.
Well, I know they're very proud of you. All right. Well, I will let you go, and I do appreciate it.
No problem at all. It was nice to talk to you.
You too. You take care.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Chatham County Summer Fun 2021 is here. Virtual Camp and Grab and Go kits are coming to Chatham County 4-H once again this summer. We are so excited to offer these fun, educational, learning opportunities from June through August. And thanks to the continued generous support of the United Way of Chatham County, these kits will be offered to community members at no cost. All youth between the ages of 5 and 18 as of January 1st, 2021 are invited to participate in these activities, regardless if they are currently enrolled in 4-H or not. For more details, just click on the link about summer fun that can be found in the Growing Chatham newsletter. The 4-H embryology and butterfly programs were a huge success this year. We thank the Livestock Conservancy for their kind partnership on this project by donating dozens of heritage breed eggs that found their way into classrooms all across Chatham County. We extend our sincere thanks to the local United Way of Chatham County for their generous support to these programs and for the dozens of teachers who brought these opportunities to their students this spring. Thank you to you all. Visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to view a time-lapse of a chick hatching in one of the Chatham County classrooms. To view the time-lapse video of a chick hatching, please visit go.ncsu.edu/growingchatham621. Join the North Carolina Tomato Club History and Transcribe-a-thon. The North Carolina State University Library Special Collections Research Center is pleased to announce the upcoming webinar, North Carolina Tomato Club History and Transcribe-a-thon program. Join us to learn about the history of Jane McKimmon's tomato clubs and 4-H programs in North Carolina during a lunch panel discussion. And stick around to help transcribe the Tomato Club Girls Historic Materials, coming up Thursday, June the 3rd from 12 until 3 p.m. Access to fresh tomatoes is among the most rewarding aspects of home vegetable gardening, and at times the most challenging. Warm nights, high rain and humidity, and resulting pest and disease pressure can frustrate even experienced gardeners. Join Matt Jones, Extension Horticulture Agent, and the Master Gardener Volunteers of Chatham County for a workshop, What's the Matter with My Mater? This workshop will cover identifying and managing the most common pests, diseases, and physiological disorders of homegrown tomatoes. When feasible, organic management options will be emphasized. Coming up June 8th, 2021 from 7 until 8 p.m., Getting Your Trees Ready for the Storm webinar. In partnership with the North Carolina Forest Service's Urban and Community Forestry Program, we introduce a two-part North Carolina Trees and Storms webinar series for homeowners. The first webinar in the series will detail what to do long before the storm hits. We will share tips for proper tree selection and placement. You will learn how to hire an arborist and what to expect when they visit. Experienced arborists typically prune young trees to allow them to better withstand the storm, as well as prune the big trees to minimize damage. Finally, you will learn what makes a particular tree or portion of a tree more prone to failure during the storm, and how you can prevent substantial losses to keep your landscape safe and your trees healthy. The second webinar in this series is titled Response and Recovery. Now that the storm has passed, plan for the future. Coming up June 17th, 2021, from 7 until 8 p.m. In this session, you will be guided through a typical cleanup response once the storm has passed. What damage might you encounter? What kind of assistance can you expect from your arborist? We will share insights into what trees can be readily saved and what trees may require removal. Finally, we will help you think about future planting projects and how to work with your arborist to develop a long-term plan for proper tree management that will keep your landscape healthy and beautiful for years to come, no matter what the storm may bring. Visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the links to these webinars. Annual report features stories of resilience. The most recent Extension Master Gardener Program annual report celebrates Master Gardener volunteers for their efforts to educate and connect individuals, families, and youth during the pandemic. Discover how Master Gardener volunteers responded in communities across North Carolina through stories of resilience. For more on this story, click on the Growing Chatham newsletter for the link. What is wrong with my basil plant? If you're planning to make pesto from your summer basil crop, do it sooner rather than later. This is because basil downy mildew, a fungal disease that attacks basil leaves, is now active in North Carolina. To find out more about the basil downy mildew, please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter and click on the link below the story. Yikes! It's a snake! Imagine you have stepped outside and suddenly you are startled. You realize there is a snake in front of you. It looks like a copperhead. Or is it? North Carolina State Extension has created a publication about snakes that include photos of harmless snakes and poisonous snakes. Click on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter to open the publication to learn more about snakes in our area. To access the links to these webinars and publications, please visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 621. View the newest virtual tour of the Pollinator Paradise Garden. This virtual tour includes videos and photos that Debbie took in April from the garden. She highlighted some of her favorite plants and tried to show different parts of the garden. To access the video, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter. We are so excited. Debbie has resumed in-person tours of the Pollinator Garden. You can view a list of the tours and register for future tours. The spring tours filled up quickly, so be on the lookout for new tour dates. Visit the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the tour information. Pollinator resources and photos. See a list of plants blooming in the Pollinator Garden. The list is updated bi-weekly. Currently, there are over 45 species in bloom. Visit the Pollinator Paradise Garden website for lots of photos and plant lists and other resources. To access the Pollinator Paradise Garden website, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter for the links. View the webinar recording, A Homeowner's Guide to Pollinator-Friendly Mosquito Management, presented by the North Carolina Pollinator Conservation Alliance. The North Carolina Pollinator Conservation Alliance conducted a webinar on May 25th, 2021, entitled A Homeowner's Guide to Pollinator-Friendly Mosquito Management. The webinar presenters discussed the basics of native bee biology, mosquito biology, and mosquito management. Topics include common practices used by homeowners, commercial applicators, and public health departments. The presentation also covered ecologically sound alternatives for managing mosquitoes in your backyard. To access the link to this recording, please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter. Join Forester, North Carolina landowners, natural resource professionals, and others for the third in a series of 4 interactive webinars about protecting your woodlands. Presentations will cover forest certification and cost share programs for forestry and wildlife. Access the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter for more details and to register for the Forester webinar. Have you visited Chatham County's farmers markets? Did you know there are 3 farmers markets right here in Chatham County? Well, now is a wonderful time to visit one or all 3. You'll find amazing flowers, foods like strawberries, green garlic, cheese curds, tomatoes, plus gorgeous greens, meats, eggs, plants, and so many other wonderfully locally grown products. So visit Chatham Mills Farmers Markets on Saturdays, Farrington Farmers Markets on Tuesdays, and Pittsburgh's Farmers Markets on Thursdays. For more details about the farmers markets and to visit their individual websites, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the links to the farmers markets. North Carolina Small Ruminant Summit. Join us at the E. Carroll Joyner Beef Education Unit in Raleigh, North Carolina for the North Carolina Small Ruminant Summit. This will be a free hybrid in-person and online event. Discussion will focus on new marketing opportunities for small ruminants in North Carolina and ways to improve small ruminant production, sustainability, and profitability moving forward. This event is scheduled for July the 24th, which is a Saturday, from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Access the link by visiting the Growing Chatham newsletter. The University of Missouri has created a new online weed identification guide. The link is available in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Have you ever scratched your head trying to find an answer relating to livestock, forages, equine, or field crops? Do you have some topic ideas that you would like to see covered by extension? If so, Christina Britt wants to hear from you. She has created a survey to discuss any needs or interests that you may have related to animal agriculture, equine, and forages, so that she can develop programming that fits those needs. There is also an opportunity to update contact information in this form as well. The link is available in the Growing Chatham newsletter. So please visit go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 621. Despite record high lumber prices, pine saw timber prices in North Carolina dropped in the first quarter of 2021. Amid the looming COVID-19 global pandemic, both housing and lumber markets continue to surge. In the first quarter of 2021, in March 2021, U.S. housing stats were up about 19% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of about 1.74 million units, the highest point since late 2006. The lumber markets also continued to soar up throughout the U.S. regions. Some of the southern yellow pine lumber grades were reportedly over $1,100 per 1,000 board feet in recent weeks. To read more, visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the link. Prescribed fire and climate change. Are we prepared? Anthropogenic climate change, including connections to wildland fire, is an increasingly prominent topic nationally and in the Southeast. Rising global surface temperatures are already impacting wildfire risk, prescribed fire implementation, hurricane intensity, and many other issues facing natural resource managers in the South. Research shows that these trends are projected to continue. However, many resources and news stories related to wildland fire and climate change are focused on how those issues manifest in the western United States. 2 recently released resources focus specifically on understanding climate change, resiliency, and wildland fire in the Southeast. To read more, click on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Ethics and professional Forestry webinar sponsored by North Carolina State Board of Registration for Foresters, coming up June 17th, 2021 at 1 p.m. Foresters have an ethical responsibility to those they serve. However, sometimes it is hard to determine where the line is between what is ethical and what may be construed as unethical. This course serves as a reminder of our ethical duties and gives examples of situations where ethics come into play. Please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the link for more details and to register. Sustainable Land Retention Project webinar, Taking Action to Manage Your Land, coming up June 23rd, 2021 from 1 until 3 p.m. Join woodland owners in learning how to develop a woodland management plan and implement the plan to achieve one's objectives. Presenters will provide insight into management planning, resources available to facilitate on-the-ground action in implementing a management plan, and things to consider in managing for the future. Visit the Growing Chatham newsletter by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 621. Broadband resources for cooperative extension. On May 12th, eligible households started accessing the FCC's Emergency Broadband Benefit Funds to offset the cost of broadband service to their home and could receive money for a device. The North Carolina Broadband Office has information with details about the Emergency Broadband Benefit program eligibility and the benefits. So please help promote this program to help bridge the digital divide in your community. Please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter to access the link for more details. A deep look into broadband in rural America. The Foundation for Rural Service has provided a white paper on the importance of connectivity in rural America. It is a go-to resource to understand the issues shaping broadband access, adoption, and utilization. To read more, please visit the Growing Chatham newsletter by visiting go.ncsu.edu/Growing Chatham 621. Today, Tara Gregory shares a strawberry pie recipe with us that her intern, Jenny, has shared with her. Jenny will demonstrate how to prepare this delicious strawberry pie. To view the video, just visit the Growing Chatham newsletter.
It's strawberry season. Are you wondering what to do with all those strawberries? Well, I have a recipe I want to share with you today. It's strawberry pie. An intern working with me, Jenny Alderman, shared this recipe with me, and we're going to watch her make it here today. So this is a no oven needed, put together, chill and enjoy kind of recipe. So let's get started. What you're going to need is about 2 cups of fresh strawberries, a pre-made or ready-to-go graham cracker pie crust, an 8-ounce package of cream cheese that you soften at room temperature, a lemon, and about 3 cups of whipped cream or a 10-ounce container of whipped topping. All right, so first step is wash off those strawberries. You can run them through cool water or in a bowl of water, as you see Jenny do here to get the remaining residue off of those strawberries. And so wash those strawberries, have them ready to go. What we're going to do next is remove those green tops. And Jenny's going to show you here how to keep your fingers in a bear claw, keeping those fingertips out of the way so that you don't slice your fingers, and we're just slicing strawberries. So go ahead and slice them or chop them into the size you'd like them to be. Bite-sized pieces will do just fine for this recipe. So after we have our strawberries ready, we're going to take some of that lemon. About a teaspoon or 2 of that lemon juice is going to go into the strawberries, which is really going to brighten them up, bring out their delicious flavor, and keep them for a moment while we get the rest of the recipe together. So go ahead and slice off some of your lemon, and you can juice it using your hand where you catch those seeds, or take out the seeds and go ahead and add that juice. And then set those aside while we get out the standing mixer, or a bowl and hand mixer will do, or even you can use your arm muscle power to use a spoon and bowl to whip this cream cheese and strawberries together. So we're going to put the cream cheese in the bowl and just mix that around a little bit, soften it a little bit more, And then add your strawberries. Save some of those strawberries to decorate the top. Just a few of them will do just fine. Or if you already have extra strawberries, because maybe you bought one too many big buckets of strawberries and you're looking for every way to use them. So you can go ahead and use some extra strawberries to decorate with later. So mixing that cream cheese and strawberries together, it'll turn the cream cheese a nice pink color and you'll have pieces of strawberry all throughout. Now turn your mixer to low. We're going to add in that whipped cream or whipped topping. So you don't want to mix it too high or too fast. You'll beat the air out of that whipped cream. So incorporate that together, and then it's ready for our pie shell. Get your pie shell together, and maybe you've made it yourself. Maybe you want to make a graham cracker crumb, butter and sugar mixture and turn it into your own pie crust, or maybe you've pre-bought it. Either way is just fine. Add that mixture in there and spread it out just the way you like, and it's ready to chill for 2 to 4 hours. And she's topped hers with strawberries and a sprig of mint, which adds a lovely pop of color to the pie. I want to say a thank you to Jenny for her lovely recipe and for demonstrating that for us. I hope you enjoy this recipe.
Can your kids' summer camps be deducted? Kids are finishing up the school year and summer will be here soon. For some, that will mean time to relax. For others, that will be rushing around, getting their kids to all the camps they have signed them up for to keep them active while parents and guardians work. We all know that camps can be expensive, but did you know that some of those expenses can be considered a tax deduction? Check out the Growing Chatham newsletter to read the tips to see if you qualify for the Child and Dependent Care credit on next year's taxes. What in the world is this? As I was walking down our hall at the office the other day, I noticed this box sitting in the hall. As I walked past the box, the words imprinted on it grabbed my attention. Ball Home Canning Demonstration Kit. I took a few steps backwards, looked at it, and then I had to open it because there was no way this old box was going to have anything in it. To my surprise, it had like new canning supplies neatly packed in an organized manner. I could not let this box go out to the dumpster, so I took it home to show my husband. Only one jar was missing from the box. My husband, Bill, was intrigued with this box and its contents as I was. He set out on a mission to find that particular missing jar. My husband, he likes to can vegetables. So we have a variety of jars at home. It did not take him long to find that perfect, particular jar on a shelf at our house. We added the jar to the box, and the set was complete again. So, what's the story behind the box? Well, while Bill was searching for the jar, I began searching on the internet to find out more about this Ball Home Demonstration Kit. It took a little bit of detective work, but I finally found some information about the kit. This was a salesman sample Ball Home Demonstration Kit. The Ball Brothers Corporation also sponsored 4-H canning events. The Ball Brothers Corporation distributed these kits to 4-H programs throughout the United States. According to the WorthPoint website, these salesman samples are rare and hard to come by. The last documented home demonstration kit that was sold was in 2019 for $39 on eBay. This demonstration kit may not be worth a whole lot, but it's priceless to our history here at Extension. Please visit the newsletter, Growing Chatham. You can also see some vintage photos that I have located from the 1940s and the 1950s of some of the home demonstration clubs and 4-H clubs canning demonstrations. Celebrate Chatham County's milestone 250th anniversary with the Chatham 250 Passport Experience. Chatham 250 Passports, creative arts, growth and change, community and diversity, agriculture, and natural environment offer safe, accessible, and fun activities designed to explore and celebrate Chatham County. Complete at least 10 passport activities on a single passport to win a Chatham 250 swag bag. You can find the details in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Get the latest COVID-19 updates from the Chatham County Health Department. The link is available in the Growing Chatham newsletter. The Chatham County Center can be found online at various sites such as Facebook, YouTube, Nextdoor, and more. So click on the link in the Growing Chatham newsletter. Thank you for joining June's Growing Chatham podcast. I'm Tiffany Hancock. Stay cool out there, and don't forget to check out the newsletter where you can access the links to register for webinars, read publications, and more. Till next time, have a good June.